Hello and welcome to this new episode of Resilient Voices. I'm Jessica, zooming in from the studio in Ericeira, and today I have a guest from the UK, Katie Bezou, a mother of two, a founder of an online community. But that's not what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about resilience as we normally do. So just dive right into the episode and we'll just say welcome, Katie.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm very honoured to be asked to speak today and to share my story. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for coming. And it's just so nice to have a fellow Ericeirian here, even though I'm not staying around for much longer. But
not too far.
Not too far.
Exactly.
Not going too far. But anyway, so we're going to sort of talk about you've made a transition, you made a big change in your life. Do you just want to take us back to that point in time when you had that? Was it like a defining moment? What happened? Like put us in that context of where this all started that you want to share.
Yeah, I think, you hear a lot about people having this one defining moment. And to be honest, I didn't have that. It wasn't like an overnight, oh my gosh, I'm awakened to this new information about myself. Yeah. It was very much a journey. Yeah. Over probably the last 7 to 8 years.
Okay. Yeah.
And what happened is I slowly started to do the work without realizing when I started to practice yoga, and I started to see a different version of me. And when I started to see that, I thought, oh, it's possible to change. I think that I felt whoever I was back then was, I'm stuck in this body, I'm stuck in this mind, this is who I am. And I really closely identified with the voice in my head being me, not something that I could change. So I guess, then I went on a journey for 7-8 years and it was a long process. Now I believe I help people get there a little bit quicker than 7 to 8 years, although it's a lifelong journey. Yeah,
it is lifelong. And I think it's interesting. Our last guest, she was actually talking about yoga as well as that modality or practice that really, really turned on that awareness, moving from not being a physical exercise or method, like to stay fit, but actually to discover and open something new, something different.
That's the real yoga. It's like self-awareness. Yeah, it's probably the best skill that we could gain is being self-aware. I say that a lot.
So was that or did you feel it straight away when you started practice yoga, or just?
I felt it quite quickly in the sense that I realized I was just becoming a calmer person and I was just a bit more compassionate with myself. And my inner critic was becoming a bit kinder, a bit softer. My nervous system was more regulated. So I was less snappy at my husband, who wasn't my husband at the time. But, I look back and realize that a lot of it was being stuck in victim mentality as well, about my challenges that I had. Mental health was a really big part of my life growing up. I struggled a lot when I was a child and in my teenage years. And because, especially back then, we didn't necessarily have the tools to navigate through that or to speak openly about that.
No.
So it just was suppressed, which happens to a lot of us. It just gets suppressed and it just transfers into something different when we're adults. Yeah. It's still there, but it just changes its path. And for me, it was a lot of anxiety and needing the highs in life to feel something. And when the highs were taken away, I'd go back to the anxiety, back to kind of questioning myself a lot, back to not really feeling enough. And so then when I started to practice in a physical way, I started to see these glimmers of change, very subtly. And when I kept practicing and then studied the philosophy, which I studied back to yoga for over a year, and that was probably the most transformational part. I remember the opening workshop for this course, and I had this visualization of me, and it might sound a bit out there, but it was literally a visualization of myself walking through this tunnel of light and just leaving everything that had happened to me, not forgetting, but being okay with it. And this new version of me was about to be born in a way. And I had this visualization and I still think about it now very often. And I really felt like that's when I almost met a new version of myself, which I never thought was possible.
Yeah. What I hear you, I mean, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And I don't think that it's strange or corny or anything at all. Because for me, it sounds like you actually met your essence. You met your soul. Because like you said in the beginning, it's what's in our head and that the inner critic and everything. That's not really our authentic, our true essence of who we are, is it?
No. And it's so conditioned to us now, I feel, that, you know, especially as women, you know, to not feel too much of yourself because we get labeled of, you know, cocky or arrogant or overly confident. And actually, you know, our real essence is love for everything around us and compassion, but also for ourselves. Yeah. And it's missing so much in this world right now. And, you know, it's such a joy to find that for myself again and to trust myself.
I'm so happy to hear that because I think that's been one of my hardest challenges in my life, to actually come to this place where actually I've become my best friend. I've become the person that I enjoy spending time with, and knowing that, my God, I am the one that wakes up with me every morning, spend the whole day with me, and go to bed with myself. And if that's not being around a really good friend, what life is that then?
And that's really interesting you said that, because something that comes up a lot in my work is people saying, you know, I just can't, you know, we'll talk about meditation as an example, but I really struggle to be present or to be alone. And I think a lot of that subconsciously is fear of being with ourselves, because when we're with ourselves, we start to see the truth about maybe how we feel about ourselves. And often how we feel about ourselves isn't always the nicest voice and the nicest view. So I think that's something that, you know, just that finding that presence has so much impact, and then you can enjoy, like you said, being with yourself and being your own best friend. And
practice self-love, because that's the most important thing. I think that's the most important love there is, because if we can love ourselves, obviously then we can bring so much love out in the world, isn't it?
Yeah, and especially as women, as mothers, it's hard to prioritize that. It's almost impossible, because you have this belief of, I just need to be giving and I need to be giving, but it is the most important relationship to nurture. But I think we're not really given the tools of how to do that necessarily.
No, I totally agree. So how did you discover the tools for that? Was that started off with yoga and then you went into another toolbox, or how have you processed or just come to that realization?
I love the way you use the word toolbox, because we speak a lot in my community about toolkits and having an internal toolkit that you can access, and how empowering that is, that if you're going through a challenge, that you have, okay, what's going to work for me in this moment, because every day is a different season, and the toolkit that worked for us yesterday might not work for us tomorrow or even today. So I think it's just having these basic fundamentals to begin with. And something that I love to talk about a lot is the way that we enter the day. I think it's everything. Like how that first 10 seconds of the day, you know, when we like to label things as, it's just one of those days, and then your coffee spills and then you're in traffic and it's like everything's going wrong today. But maybe it's that you've woken up and that's the lens that you're seeing that day through. Because you've already decided this is one of those days, it's a bad day. So I always like to tune into that first even 10 seconds. And I think also morning routines are very glamorized on social media these days, with, you know, doing your stretch and doing your meditation. And that's not always reality. And especially for me, you know, I'm a mother who sleeps with her 2 kids. I can't do those things. You know, it's normally them banging me on the head to wake me up. So it's like, what can I do in this moment? And I always teach this morning routine, which is a 1 breath, 1 thought, 1 action. And it's just wake up, you know, I'm going to intentionally take a deep breath, just 1. And I'm just going to say 1 nice thing to myself to enter the day. And that's something that could take 10 seconds. And then the 1 movement could be like a stretch, or just feel my feet on the ground just to arrive. And that's one technique that I like to use. Just 10 seconds, just set up your day a little bit differently than you would, and just be a little bit more intentional about it.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Because I think that a lot of, especially coming into winter, I think a lot of people wake up with like, oh my God, it's cold, it's dark, I do not want to get out of bed.
I'm one of those people.
And then becoming aware of that's a thought pattern that's not going to serve you in your day. Right?
Absolutely. And it's just planning it ahead, you know. Tomorrow I'm going to wake up and I'm, you know, it doesn't matter what's happening around me. I'm going to take that deep breath and I'm going to arrive and I'm going to give myself that. It's a gift, really.
Yeah.
It's really a gift, you know, waking up on autopilot, rushing, like it doesn't help us. It doesn't serve us. So it's really like about giving that back to yourself, that moment. And just in general, I suppose it's more about just taking more moments in the day when if we do feel overwhelmed or we feel like a lot of things happening, how can I just take 10 seconds? It's not about, oh, I need to go and book this, like, you know, 10-day detox retreat. Like those things are great, but like, what are we doing every single day? And it's about those really small, tiny things. And I know it's really cliche to say it's the small things that make the big difference, but it really is.
Yeah, it is.
But just set whatever works for you up for yourself and practice those and just see how different things feel.
Yeah. That's beautiful. I think that is really profound in a way. I mean, because I think it is and I think that's why the little things, it's also the small things, which is also quite simple and easy, and like I've been brought up with this. If it's easy to do, it's also easy not to do.
That's so true.
So I mean, you always have the choice to do them or do them not.
Very true. And we're always, you know, that comes under the category of, again, prioritizing the relationship we have with ourselves, which is always going to be the bottom of well, not always, but very often with most people, it's the bottom of the priority list. So it's like, how can we bring that into my first priority of the day? It's not easy, but again, with practice. With practice and then realizing it feels good. And then I always say you almost need to slip out of it so that you can realize how powerful that was for you. Like that's actually a really profound moment when people say to me, oh, but I was doing so well with this and I was sticking to it every day and now I've completely slipped off all these habits and I feel like that. I'm like, that's great news.
That's great.
That's brilliant. Like, because you're aware of that and now you know what to do to bring yourself back to a state of more presence and more inner peace, I suppose.
Yeah, that's amazing. So easy, but so difficult in it. Because I want to take you back to when you're 7 or 8 years ago, before you sort of started to discover this inner peace, the different voice in your head, maybe, or maybe the presence, that light that you described. How was life before?
Yeah, and that's interesting you said that, because on paper, it looked great.
Yeah,
I had all the things that we're told are the things that make you happy.
Yeah.
You know, I was living in a very luxurious city. I had a corporate job. I'd worked my way up the ladder, as they recommend to do, because that's what you should do.
Yeah.
And I have, you know, had always and still have today a very loving husband. And, you know, a lovely house. All the things that a checklist, I had it. And I still felt like something was missing. That's the only way I can describe it. I didn't know what, but it was like something was just, I was like, oh, it's like always wanting to move on to the next thing, because I was really searching for something within me, realistically. Yeah,
because there was a void within.
There was a void within me, but also I wasn't living in a lie. You know, because I do say external does have an impact. I'm not, you know. Yeah. I was also living a life that wasn't in alignment with me, but I felt so deeply stuck in it. And it was like, how can I get out? You know, I've done this now and I've committed to this now. And I'd moved country at a very young age. And I was like, well, I'm here now and this is what I'm supposed to do because this is what everybody else says is successful. Yeah. How can I go back on that now? Yeah. So I very much felt like that. That was like a feeling. And also I was just very sensitive to, I mean, someone could literally say, I don't really like that color top. And I would, you know, just have a mental breakdown inside because I just couldn't deal with any criticism or any feedback. If somebody at work had said to me, oh, next time, could you maybe do it like, you know, do it that way? That just, because my inner value was so low. I was so sensitive to anything, basically, in my external environment, and just generally more short-tempered and I guess just not happy. And I'd had things within me that just were not processed.
Yeah, that's right. And also what I hear that is that also very much of your identity was in your doing. And if you were not doing good enough, you were not being good enough. Is that?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And I think, you know, most of us tie our worth to our output. Yeah. That's such a common thread that I see. And I was very much in that state of, well, you know, this is what my family say is successful, so I just need to do this because this is what everybody else is doing. So why would I question it? But then the more I questioned it inside, it's like, I think there's only so long we can suppress our inner voice. It's always going to come back, and it comes back harsher, and it comes, you know, especially with me. And I feel really grateful the fact that I had the opportunity to leave that country and move here and find a life that is just more in alignment with me. Yeah. And I can safely say, after moving countries twice and feeling the fear and doing it anyway, that you know, your external environment, it does need to some degree suit your internal world as well. And the hustle and the city life is great for some people. It wasn't great for me. And it was just putting my mind into overdrive all the time and making me want to escape. Yeah.
So more of a sensitive soul?
Very much.
Yeah.
Which I was always told was a bad thing. Yeah. And now I'm so happy to be sensitive.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's a superpower, I think.
Yeah. And like also just having that feminine energy within you that you appreciate and love. And to be able to find a bit of both, you know, a bit of resilience, yes, but also sensitivity is a beautiful thing. And I hid it away for a long time. I really did think it was a problem. Yeah. Really did. And now I love having a good old cry. Yeah. I love being able to have uncomfortable conversations about things in my past that might make me upset. You know, and I think it's just leaning into discomfort with confidence.
And I think that be, because I want to ask you what your definition of what resilience is for you.
Okay. Resilience for me is being able to be in a challenge in your life or a challenging season, whatever it is that you're going through. Yeah. And even not understanding why in that moment, being able to say, this is here to show me something. And I don't know what it is now, but in 6 months, in 1 year, in 2 years, maybe in 3 or 5 years, I will know why I went through this. And to have trust in the challenge whilst you're in it. I think that is resilience for me.
Yeah. Well said.
Thank you.
That resonates really. It does.
Thank you.
And I think that resilience also, you can't really, I mean, in order to become more, because I think it's, for me, it's a lot of, your more experiences you're going through, the more you build your resilience, the more wisdom you also carry with you. So I think that you have to, it's a part of becoming more wise, becoming more, evolved as a human being. You sort of, you need these life lessons. You need to go through these things.
Definitely. And I really think we've been conditioned to just cross our fingers and hope that doesn't happen to me. Yeah. And live in fear of challenge or anything going wrong or anything being taken away from us or, you know, having this scarcity mindset. Like we all have this fear of what happens if, and then you fill in the blank depending on where you are in your life. How liberating is it to feel this could happen, but I trust myself to do hard things? Yeah. And I can get through it because I've got through hard things before and I'll do it again. And even if I've not been through that exact thing, I'll find a way. And that's like the ultimate way to live. I don't think that there is honestly a better self-development tool than that. No. Is to have that trust in yourself to get through challenge.
And that's ultimate freedom, isn't it?
Yes. Definitely.
And also, I think trusting that whatever challenge has been given, whatever hardship is you currently live in, that also something will arise on the other side. That actually this comes for a reason, and it's here to learn you to teach you something to make you grow, and then on the other side, that's where the reward is. The something that's better, something that's a different version of life or of you or whatever. Can you see that as a
definitely? Yeah. I think, you know, I always like to say when we go, and this is also not me saying that when you're in a challenging period to just put a smile on your face and be like, oh, this is great. Like I'm not saying that. I'm also like really against toxic positivity. Like if that feels difficult for you in that moment, you know, that's valid. And that's how you feel about it, and that's fine. Yeah. But just also try to find an essence of trust about it. And yeah, I totally resonate with what you said.
Yeah.
I think it's...
And also I think it is that what you mentioned that before as well, this would allow yourself to cry, allowing yourself to actually feel the feelings, be with emotions that show up. And that's okay. And if you're going through some really difficult situation, a hardship, whatever, allow yourself to be pissed off, to be unhappy, to be angry, scream, cry, do whatever, lie on the floor and just allow it to be there, process it, but do not stay there, because that's, I think a lot of people keep on staying there and allowing themselves to live in that miserable place instead of, it could be for a shorter period and then you need to say, okay.
Yeah, allow the process, and then it's like, right, what am I doing with this? Because life's moving forward, whether you like it or not. And I always like to describe this kind of crossroads when we have a challenge in our life. There is literally two options. You can do what you said, and you can make yourself a victim of that challenge. Yeah. Ultimately, I know that sounds quite harsh, but it's the truth. Like you can make yourself a victim and stay stuck in a why me? Why did this happen to me? Or you can find tools to use that to your advantage. Yeah. There's no path C. Path C is the one that we're all subconsciously wanting, which is, can this just not have happened in the first place? Yeah. Can I reverse out? Yeah. No, like it's happening. So they are literally your two options all the time. Yeah. So it's like, which one am I going to take? Yeah. Because ultimately that is the only thing you do have control over in that situation, not the situation going away, but which path am I going to take to navigate through it?
Yeah, that's so right. And I mean, we can also, because we can choose our suffering. Our thoughts is what actually makes us suffer. And I think this is wishing that things would be different. And I love the work. I don't know if you've come across Byron Katie's work with loving what is.
Yes.
And just really, it is what it is. Mm-hmm. Okay, so what am I doing with this then? Because we can wish ourselves out of a situation, but the situation will still be the same unless we empower ourselves and start to ask the right questions, the different thoughts that will propel us in movement some way.
Yeah, and I think there's the external challenge. Yeah. That's the one that's out of our hands. I'm calling it. I don't know what that would be for you right now, or anybody listening. But there's also the story we tell ourselves about that challenge. That's our perception. Yeah. And I heard something the other day, and I'm very much into re-quoting something I've heard, and then I'm probably re-quoting it wrong, but it was something like 98% of the stories we tell ourselves about the experiences we've had are not even correct. Yeah, yeah. It's just a perception we tell ourselves.
And they will never happen as well.
Yes, exactly. So it's like, again, it goes back to awareness. Yeah. When we become aware of our thoughts, we can become aware of the stories we have been telling ourselves, usually our entire life. And it's like, oh, and that was a really profound moment for me. That was one moment when I realized I can change my story. Yeah. I can change what I tell myself about this thing that happened. And that's so empowering. It's like we get to decide. Like you can actually decide how you feel about something. You can decide how you perceive something. And it all comes back to that same message we had at the beginning, which is self-awareness. Become aware of your thoughts. And a lot of us are just on autopilot, not thinking about our thoughts, not even reflecting and saying, because a lot of the time we go through that external thing. I feel like this because so-and-so is happening or so-and-so has happened. But we never say what thought got me here. Yeah. But the feeling can't exist without the thought. No. So the thought at some point appeared to give you that feeling. Yeah. So it's like finding that middle piece of what did you tell yourself about that to create that feeling within you?
Yeah. And do you want to feel different?
Yeah. Oh, I love the way you said that. Because I really believe sometimes we tell ourselves, I want to feel different about something. Yeah. But there's something within us that feels almost attached to feeling that way. And it can almost be addictive to be a victim.
Oh, yes. Because it becomes a part of our identity. It becomes, and it's also, I think, because we do, about the human needs theory, because we got there are six different levels of needs, I think, that we need to fulfill. And we will do it, the sort of feeling significant and feeling safety, and we will do it in a positive way, in a negative way, or in a neutral way. So if we I mean, take an example as this a young boy, like he's never come from a broken family, has never had like felt loved, felt seen, felt appreciated, and then he ended up in a gang situation. And then all of a sudden he's got this community people that sort of sees him, validates him, and they give him a gun. And as soon as he point that gun at another person, he get all his attention. That satisfied his needs of being significant and important in a way. So does it make him happy? Probably not, but it fulfills the need. And I think that's really interesting to see that we do everything we can to fulfill our needs. And sometimes it just doesn't really make sense, but we do it anyway because it gives us something that we need, and we don't really know how to change it from a negative way, maybe to a neutral way, and then sort of to actually move into the more positive way of getting our needs met.
It's really interesting you brought that up, because this month actually we're doing on our membership about comfort zones and our happiness baseline.
Yeah.
And sometimes if we say to somebody, do you know that you're actually not seeking happiness, you're seeking comfort?
Yeah.
I'm like, you're crazy. Of course I'm seeking to be happier. That's all I do. And it's like, no, actually, we have a baseline of what we consider a happiness comfort zone that we are sitting in based on our life experience. Yeah. And we're always trying to bring ourselves back to that. Even if sometimes something feels too good to be true, it's like, come back to reality, you know?
Yeah.
Come back. And that's actually how we self-sabotage ourselves without even realizing. It's like, but how can you say I want to be unhappy? No, because this is what you're comfortable with. This is where you're used to being. Yeah. So we do this without even realizing.
Yeah, and how can you? Because then what you talk about, I was saying, connect that with the stories we're telling, and can you change that? You think by actually starting to tell a different story. How do you move into that to see that you're actually worth being not just comfortable, but also happy for real?
Do you mean that how do I change the story about my comfort zone?
Yeah, because it is some sort of, you feel like you're not worth more. Maybe because that's how I interpreted what you said.
Yes.
That's how I feel like this is how much happiness I'm worth. And this is like, okay, this is good enough, and this is not going to get better because I don't really. So it's a part of the thing is it's a story that you've told yourself, but it also that's connected to your self-worth and self-love, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So was your question, how can I change that?
Yeah.
What do I do about it? Like if someone's listening and they're like, well, okay, that's me. Now what?
Yeah. Now what?
Yeah.
Do you have any tools for that or ideas about how?
Yeah, I would say get really, really friendly with your limiting beliefs. A lot of the time, limiting beliefs show up in the way that we act and other things we say. Like we're not necessarily walking around all day saying, I'm not enough, I'm not good enough. Like that's not, so that they're a little bit more trickier to identify. Yeah. Like, okay, well, how am I finding out? Like, what are my subconscious beliefs? It comes through sometimes in our habits, the way that we show up for ourselves. It comes through in other thoughts that we have about ourselves or labels that we've given ourselves. So there is work involved with doing that. But I guess one place I would start, if I was listening to this and I really wanted to change my inner narrative when it comes to valuing myself, the first thing I would do is write down as many limiting beliefs that you can identify with when it comes to yourself. Yeah. Like as many, even things that you see as insignificant, like I used to say, I'm just not a creative person, for example. Like, this is something that came from school because art wasn't my thing, but creativity is so vast. But anyway, that's a whole other story.
And I have this about, I've never been able to sing. Yeah. I have a really bad voice. That's what I'm...
Yeah. But I think we can just be good at anything when we decide that that's what we want to be good at. Yeah. Right? And what does good at mean? That's also so varied. But anyway, so I would write down that list. Yeah. And... even that in itself is such a powerful exercise because what will happen afterwards is you'll just start to notice it. Yeah. You'll start to have another voice that comes in, which is the voice that wants the best for yourself, because all of us do have that within us. So we just need to access it. He or she will start coming in saying, oh, you just said that about yourself again. Oh, or you say it out loud, someone just complimented you and you said, oh, no, please don't, you dismissed it immediately. You just start to become aware. Yeah. And then what I do is I help people literally rewire those thoughts. So we go to that list and then write the new thoughts, which is what I would say for you to do at home. So you have that list, write new positive affirmations. The more uncomfortable you are with them, the better. Like they should feel like, oh my gosh, I can't even say that out loud about myself.
I'm lying.
It's like, I just can't say something that nice about myself. Like the more uncomfortable, the better. That's exactly what you need. Like it should feel like icky to say out loud, you know? Write those down and literally at whatever season of life you're in, pick the one or two that feel most relevant for you right now and say them to yourself every single day. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. And just that's such a good start. And it's helped so many people that I've worked with, and I guarantee it will make a difference. And it starts to become boring to say the same ones. It starts to become more familiar. Then you can practice saying out loud to yourself. Yeah.
Because this practice does rewire your neural pathways, right? Yeah. So you actually get into different thought patterns. Yeah. And that's really what we want to do, because we're quite lazy when it comes to that's what habits are, because we're preserving energy when we have to run away from that big lion or the dinosaur, wherever it was. So and we're always looking for bias information to support that thought as well. So if my underlying thought is I am not enough, I'm going to be constantly looking for things to support that belief, because it makes us feel good as humans when we have that support for our belief, doesn't it? You know, if I think that avocados are bad for you because I've read something online, I'm going to start to find this information everywhere and just be fed with it, just like the algorithm. And I always say that our minds work like the algorithm. Whatever we want to feed it with, whatever information we want to find to support that belief, because that makes us feel good, we will find it. Yeah. We will find it. Because we are actually, the mind is a computer. We are, a program runs us, unless we change that around and say, no, I'm going to run the show here. I am going to take charge of this program. Yeah. But then you have to do that work with affirmations, but also hypnosis. And I do a lot of breath work, and that's also a great way of rewiring your brain and get into your subconscious mind and actually reprogram that. So there are many different tools you can work with, like deep meditation. So you can work with many tools to get to that. But I need to come to one of your breathwork sessions, I feel. Yes. I'd love to. And that's the other point to make, is it's not like you get to a certain point and then it's like, oh, I'm done, I feel really positive. No, this is like everyday work. Yeah. Like, it's a part-time job, you know? Yeah, but it comes to a place where there is no other way of living life than actually. But I also I have like weekly check-ins with a woman. We've done it for, like, we check in every Monday and check out conversations every Friday, and we set like an intention, a focus for the week, and sort of. And I've had a really stressful time the last couple of weeks, and talking about this with awareness, and then coming back to I had an intention on the Monday, and then Friday I just realized, my God, my week is just. My intention was completely gone. I've just gone back into old habits. Just gone. I've been on a different. I was just too stressed, too much to do. I've taken on, so I forgot about my what I need, my daily routines, what I need to be the best I can be. But the thing is that if you have other, like if you have someone that you check in, or if you write your journal, or whatever, or if you check in with yourself, it's like, how is this going for me? What's happening? How is the week going? Oh no, not so good. So after all the work I've been done for so many years, I still have those weeks where it's like, shit. Definitely. I have not been a good friend to myself this week. Yeah. Because obviously what comes last on my list is my the work for me and the time for me. And that's the most crucial work in order to be the best version of me. Of course. And then you have your toolkit to go back to. Yeah, and then it's like, okay, but then and then you come to that, so say awareness. Okay, so what do I need to do to change this? It's like, okay, I need to go back into to breathing, to yoga, to my, and then I'm in a better place. But it's easy for everyone, even the I would say myself as a professional. Self-aware person. Self-aware life hack person. I mean, I've tried and I've trained. I've been doing a lot of work. But even the best, I'm not saying that I am the best, but I know what you're saying. So, but it happens. And
it does. It does. We can easily forget. And it's so beautiful to be able to come back to it and go, oh, hang on a minute. And you know what? It's exactly what you said there. And it's what I say to clients all the time. It's the basics.
Yeah.
Go back to the basic. Oh, yeah. And I do that all the time. I neglect those basics sometimes. And I'm like, I'm not feeling great this week. I'm more on edge. I'm snapping more at my kids. I'm feeling like I'm in fight or flight mode a little bit more. What's going on? Oh, you haven't done your evening meditation this week, or you haven't set your intention, or you've been neglecting your affirmations, or you've been rushing out of bed without taking a deep breath, without arriving.
Yeah.
Oh, just go back to that tomorrow and then you'll feel better.
Yeah. And then, like you said, maybe you just need 10 seconds in the morning. One breath, one thought, and what did you say?
One action.
One action. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, and the good thing with that routine is you can do it anywhere, anytime.
Yeah.
And you don't have the excuse, which is I don't have time. Yeah. And I know some people are genuinely more tight for time than others, but everyone can always fit that in. And if you have kids, get your kids involved in it. Yeah. It will inspire them.
Yeah. That's great. That's a great tip. There's no excuses, because there's always time. And I think that with me doing a lot of breath work and supporting and helping people and actually finding their breath, I mean, you can always come back to your breath and just
Such an anchor.
And just pause and just, I mean, we can do it here and just become aware. Start to become aware. Where is your breath? And just, okay.
Maybe you can share like a 10-second breath check-in. Yeah. So that when someone finishes this episode, they like have all these tools to write down.
Yeah. So I mean, the only thing you can do is just connect. If you want to close your eyes, and if you're like sitting in an office or whatever you're doing, maybe you don't want to close your eyes. Maybe you can go to the bathroom and just sit and just really become aware of your breathing. So just take a long, deep breath in. So we breathe through the nose, not through the mouth, and just count quietly for yourself. Breathe in through the nose and count to 5. 3, 4, 5, and just hold for like a second, and then just slowly breathe out for 5 through your nose. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just pause, and then just come back and breathe in. And while you do this, and just continue and just count mentally, you can have a hand on your belly, to just or two, just feel that, because that's where you want to have your breath coming. So you want it down in your belly. So you can just do 10 breaths like this, and that will just calm your whole system. And another trick is to actually, if you count in on, let's say, breathe in on 4, maybe you extend your out breath to 8. So the longer your out breath is in relationship to your in breath, the more signals you send to your nervous system that, okay, you're safe, you're okay now, so you can come down. And I was thinking that with that, and maybe some affirmations with that, maybe even add a couple, like if you've decided it's something you want to work on, and you have like one weekly affirmation. I don't know how you work with that, but maybe that could be, and then you can just sort of, okay, now I need some time. I'll just go away for a bit. I'll just sort of close the door to my space, connect with my breath, and just breathe, and then maybe come to your affirmation as well.
Well, you said something beautiful there, which is one that I like to practice a lot with my clients, which is I'm safe. Yeah. Because a lot of the time when we get into that overwhelm, it's like actually what that message is saying is I'm not safe here. I'm not safe in this situation. Yeah. So just reminding yourself of that. And I always like to, when you're actually doing that exercise, you can ask yourself, what do I need to hear right now? Yeah. And trust the first thing that comes up is exactly that. Yeah. Yeah. Because then it's personalized to you, like you said, like, and that's where the power is. I think things like affirmations are, they're very trendy right now, and that's amazing. But I think actually knowing how to use them as a tool for you and personalize them to you, depending on what you're experiencing, that's where they are the most impactful. Not a generic one that you've seen on Instagram, but like a real one that you've built yourself. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's super powerful. Yeah, yeah. So, and I think that, just that breathing exercise, it just shows somebody that You don't necessarily have to sign up to an expensive app. Like just learn these tools yourself.
Yeah.
You could do that in the toilets at work. If you had a moment of overwhelm, it's like, I just need a minute. Like you could go and do that anytime, any place.
And that's one thing I learned from my oldest son. He's used that when he was in school because he needed quite sensitive to demands and really So he needed to just get away. So he was allowed to go to the toilet. So he used that. So he had like a card, like I need a break. So then he was allowed to go. And then he used to actually going to the toilet. He didn't actually go to the toilet. He was sitting on the toilet and just sort of,
wow,
and just disconnected from everyone around and all like everything that was happening to just find that time. So I think that's super. And that was his own tool when he was like 11, 12.
Did you teach him that?
No, I didn't.
Oh.
That was one of his things that we just realized that he did use it for a reason. And just figuring out that, okay, so when you go to the toilet, what happens then? It's like, I get a pause. I can breathe. Like, yeah, okay. So we talked to the school then, and then they got this card, so he was allowed. Then he could just use this, and he was allowed to go because then they knew that he needed that time out. So it was really, he came up with it, but we just helped him to use it as a tool for him to actually get that pause that he needed.
That's amazing.
And
not a lot of children have that.
No.
Have that skill to know that that's something that they need, and that's so special that he knew how to do that. And that's something that we, for the future generation, can inspire our children with. And I always say that, like, if you want your child to do something better, you do it better first, because they can be our mirrors, and we can inspire them so much when we go on these journeys. Yeah. Ultimately they're seeing life through us. So how we get overwhelmed easily, that's going to pass down to them, but also how we deal with the overwhelm, that's tools that they can use as well.
Yeah. Absolutely. And also as well that, because I think that's super when we talk about being parents and that sometimes we actually do lose it. Sometimes we just cannot hold it together. We just sort of, like with children, and you're tired and you have everything. It's like, and I think it's important as well that you do not, you lead by example and you mirror this being the example, but also being the example for that sometimes life is difficult and I'm losing it sometimes, but then we have the other tool and say, wow, I'm sorry. Now I just lost it here, and I'm sorry. But I had a really bad day, whatever. Yeah. But how we behave and to sort of talk about that we can, as an adult, we can also actually lose control a bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's completely normal. So we don't really put ourselves on the big pedestals, and our children just really. So we go away and just get mad, and it's like sometimes it's good that they see that, and if you're sad and upset, that they actually see that. Oh wow, my mom is crying. It's like, oh, sorry, what did I say? Like, oh no, it wasn't you, but I'm just sort of that. I think it is a good way of also, because everyone is just living in this world where nothing is real. A lot of things are just surface, and we're not supposed to feel, and we're not supposed to show emotions, and boys should not cry. And that still lives on, doesn't it?
It really does. And also just changing that narrative that like, I can hold your discomfort. Yeah. Because I think a lot of it comes back to when I think about the the conditioning that has been passed down from generations about happiness, about that we're just supposed to be happy all the time. And I realize that a lot of it is because we're not able to hold their discomfort. Yeah. It makes us uncomfortable to see our children uncomfortable. But the more that we condition ourselves that uncomfortable feelings and discomfort is perfectly okay, we can hold that for them, and they can see, oh, okay, I felt angry too. That's normal though, because my mum can hold that for me, or my dad can hold that for me. Yeah. And that's a gift. So I'm like, if you have children and you're watching this, honestly, the best thing you can do for them is work on you, literally. Yeah.
So we don't want to achieve any perfection here, because we're human beings.
Just show yourself as a human.
Yeah. And we are full of emotions, and that's one thing. If you cannot show all the emotions, then because we need all the emotions. I just remember when I got stress-induced anxiety and depression. And first I got prescription of antidepressants, but that just numbed everything, which meant I wasn't feeling as low, but there was nothing above. There was just like this middle awful place to be, where there was like just no emotions, like so, and that just, I just did it for a very brief period of time. Maybe for some people it's good for a period of time, but I think it's a dangerous thing, because then we think that we're not allowed to be depressed and have anxiety. Yeah. But then if we cannot feel that, when we don't feel those, we can neither feel joy, happiness, and the other emotions. Yeah. So I think we need the whole spectrum.
We do. And I think we're in a really beautiful time, in the sense that there's, look at all the tools that we've talked about today. Similarly to you, I was also they tried to prescribe me antidepressants as a teenager. I didn't want them. And then they put me to the school counsellor. And then I remember not even showing up to those sessions, because I didn't really connect with that counsellor at the time. And that was it. It's like, you don't want those two options, and that's it. But now we are in a time where there is so many tools that are available, which is such a great time to be in, because sometimes people say to me, oh, like, I know I should get therapy, and I've been going to therapy, but it's not. And I'm like, that might not be for you. Therapy in general isn't necessarily always going to speak to somebody. It's something that you need to feel better within yourself. Like, my therapy is going for a walk, getting out in nature, maybe, and just speaking it out loud to someone I'm familiar with, not to a stranger. And it's different for everybody. But I think that's one really special thing about this time, is that there are a lot of different tools, and people can find what's working for them. Yeah. It doesn't have to just be, medication. It doesn't have to just be therapy. It could be a lot of other things that they can access, like breath work and like, other things. Yeah.
So, and I think that for me, I mean, and then for those of you who've listened to this more, know that I'm very I'm trying the natural way with medicine. Sometimes it's absolutely necessary, but most of the times we actually do not need anything but looking at the reasons why we get a headache, and maybe you just need to sleep. Maybe you need to change your habits. Maybe you need some herbal remedies, because we have so much in talking about nature but also that's why I love breath work, because a lot of people, you don't need, it's therapy, but you don't need to say a word. You don't even need to know what the problem, why you're not feeling well, you don't even need to go back to that, because your body knows, and it will help you to heal and regulate your nervous system. So it is a beautiful practice that I think that really, and also that helps for, as well as depression and anxiety as well. A lot of PTSD patients have been helped by different types of transformational breath work, like deep holotropic breath work and deeper breathing practice.
Yeah, it's such a powerful practice. And I think this goes back to one thing that you mentioned there, which is about what I saw in the theme there was about trust. I think you can do anything if you trust yourself that it's possible. Yeah. And I always say that if you want to improve something in your life, whether it be your mindset or anything, there's two things you need. And the first one that we've already touched about today, which is you actually need to want to change it. Yeah. Not say you want to, but actually have a desire to change it. And the other thing is you need to believe and trust in yourself that it's possible. Yeah. So I always like to have this little mini visualization check-in, which is closing your eyes and imagine, maybe we do it now. Yeah. Let's do it. Maybe someone listening might benefit. This is a really quick practice, but closing your eyes, taking a breath, and just visualize yourself in a room, and the door opens, and the person who walks into that room is you. It's you in your most aligned self. Yes, the first thing we'll think about is maybe how she or he looks, and that's normal. Welcome that in. But I want you to really think about the energy that version of you is bringing to that space. How do they make other people feel? What energy are they bringing? How do they feel? Maybe you can tell just in their presence. What words come up to you? Maybe it's present. Maybe it's they're fulfilled. Maybe they're motivated. Maybe they're confident. Whatever words come up, and just allow that. Because what you're chiming into here is how you want to feel every day, not necessarily who you're trying to be. And it's just feeling as the best, most aligned version of yourself. And then you can just take a breath and then come back into the space and open your eyes. And that just gives you a visualization of who is possible, because a lot of the time we're saying the things that we want, but we can't picture it in our head. So even just that practice, it will give you some direction.
That's beautiful. Thank you for that. I can just feel that. And I think it is what's most important is how we feel, because according to how we feel, that's also how we're going to act, right?
Definitely.
So if we can just get in, and what you did is really to you when you do this practice, you help me or the person that listening that you're guiding to think differently, to visualize something, and those visions and feelings affect your feelings, because that's how we change behaviors, because in the end you will behave differently.
I'm glad you said the word behave, because I think that is the first point of call. If you're not somebody who's ever thought about, I want my mindset to be transformed, maybe that seems a bit too extreme for you, but maybe you're just someone who's like, I want my habits to change, because I think that's where it starts. Like, I want to scroll less on my phone. I want to go walking more. I want to get outside in nature more. I want to exercise, and I want to eat better, and I'm just not able to stick to it. And a lot of the time it comes down to the fact that the way we talk to ourselves about ourselves, which is from a place of being so critical of like, oh, you've got to work out because you're fat, or you've got to eat better because if not, you're going to get sick and die, like that is genuinely how we're speaking to ourselves. And it's like, would you speak to a child that way if you wanted to encourage them to do something better? Never. And that's why inner child work's so impactful, because you can visualize that child version of you, or if you have children, you can visualize your children. And imagine saying that to their face. You would never say it. So why do we say it to ourselves? If we can learn how to be compassionate, which comes from a place of value, when we learn I am valuable, therefore those habits are easy, because I know I'm deserving to feel good. And when I do these habits, I feel good, and I deserve to feel good. So I do think that's like, it's the underlying root to everything. So if there's a habit in your life that you want to change or you want to transform, it really does start with that. Like try to be more compassionate and loving to yourself. And obviously sometimes being compassionate and loving means pushing through too. It doesn't mean, well, I'm just going to stay on the couch because my inner voice told me that, like, this is what I need today. There's a fine line, obviously. But the more you become self-aware, the more you will know, should I be pushing or do I need to pull back? And then you can become more connected to what your intuition is telling you.
And it's a bit of a dance, I find, because being myself going through a stress burnout and how I know the habits that brought me there, really a lot what we talked about, not valuing myself, the self-worth, the self-love was not there. I was doing everything for everyone else, didn't really look at me, just didn't listen to my body. I was completely disconnected, which I think is from my head and my body was not, I had no idea what was happening below my head, basically. And that just really those poor habits. And then that becomes, then when you actually recover from that and become like, you're always a bit like disabled, you have a bit of a wound left. So I will always carry that with me, but I appreciate that because it helps me to actually just like, now I'm on the wrong way here. So it just helps me to come back to me, back to myself. But it's been a lot of work to go into that. But I think that is about the self-awareness, but also how we train our thoughts and how easy it is to get into that stress loop, and then you lose control of your thoughts, and then you go back into old habits. And so I think it's a constant dance and constant involvement and awareness. And
definitely. Yeah, it's not just like, I think they always say, there's that graph of like growth being like this and it's always up. No, it's always, it's meant to dip out, and you're meant to come in and out of, there's weeks that we show up and we feel like on top of the world, like I can do anything and I'm limitless. And then the next day it's like the imposter syndrome kicks back in and it's like, what am I even doing? I had it before I came in here today. I was like, who wants to listen to what I've got to say, And then I'm here and I'm talking and I'm like, no, I do have something that is impactful and that I want to share. But that's natural. And it's acceptance of discomfort. That's an uncomfortable feeling, and that's okay, because I'm a human and I'm allowed to feel like that.
Yeah, now you're even here talking about it. So thank you for sharing that, because I think that's super important, because it happens to all of us. I would say that even, so many like artists that perform and sing and go up on big stages, they have stage fright.
Yeah.
But they do it anyway.
Yes.
Because once they're up there, once they've sort of overcome that taken that step onto the stage and sang the first song, then it's just joy and happiness, and because they're doing what they're supposed to do, that is sharing something and giving something of themselves that they have. There's a gift that they're supposed to give.
And that's what confidence is.
Yeah.
It's not something you're born with or you're born without. And that's what I used to believe. I was like, I'm just not a confident person. That's how I labeled myself. And it's funny because if that version of me could see me, just even sitting here and speaking to somebody and it being filmed, but it's a practice. It's actually not a personality trait. It's a practice.
It's a practice.
And like you said, feeling the fear, doing it anyway, feels a bit uncomfortable. I'm okay with the discomfort. I'm okay with being nervous. That's normal. And then you do it, and then, you become a little bit more confident, and then you can do more things.
Yeah. That is beautiful. So, so many good things here today, and I'm really, really enjoying this conversation, and I'm sure that our beautiful women that are listening, that you're enjoying this as well. So if you just want to say, because then we touched so many tools, what would be just the first thing that you would send an advice or give? What's your gift of to switch, to change, to?
Yeah, it's a really good question. And I like being put on the spot with these questions because I believe whatever comes up is the right thing. And I think that my thing to share would be that change is possible. However you feel right now, you're not stuck that way. Because I believed for a long time that I was stuck that way. And you can change, and it literally takes one decision to change your entire life. That would be the last thing I want to... I know that's not really a tool, but it's like a belief that I want them to practice at home. Is I believe that you can change. I believe I can change anytime I want.
Yeah, and it takes just a choice.
Decision.
A decision, yeah. A decision.
Yeah. I don't want to feel this way anymore about myself. So here's what I'm going to do. And then you could maybe start with some of the tools that we've talked about today. Start with those limiting beliefs, get them on paper, have a look at them. Yeah. And then the other thing, sorry, I just want to add, when you're thinking about your limiting beliefs, really important, ask yourself where they came from. Because they're always from someone else.
They're
never you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I always say, be as confident as a 4-year-old in a Spider-Man costume. Yeah. Because my son, when he's in his Spider-Man costume, he can do anything.
Anything.
And that's our birthright. That's how we are born. And that's possible for you to embody as an adult as well. Maybe not walking around in Spider-Man costume, but in your version of that is, whatever your version of that is, it's possible for you. Yeah. Just one decision.
Yeah, and I think that's super powerful because, and as well, one thing that I normally use is that, okay, what is the next best thought you can think? If you have a really bad thought that's not making you feel good, it's like, okay, can you just think one better thought? If that's slight, just sort of getting into that, a slight shift. I think that's really what you say about as well. I mean, you make it different. You make a decision. Yes. And that might not be, I mean, you may want to go from like A to Z, then that decision may be too big. Yeah, might feel too far away. Yeah, it's like overwhelming. So maybe then the first step would be to, maybe you're like 3 things in the morning and then just sort of just choose a different thought, choose something different. Just do it because your change process to here and now has taken 7-8 years. So it's not like you said, it's not like one decision like that, one change like that, but it takes. I just mean it takes one decision to start you on that journey to feeling 1% better. Yeah, absolutely. Maybe it's just 1%, like you said. That's what I just wanted to clarify. So you don't really. No. It's 1% every day. You're going to feel that shift within you. Yeah. Like you're going to feel the change for sure. Yeah. Wow, Katie. What a conversation! So much wisdom and so much. It really brought me a lot of clarity and confirmation that you can do anything that you want. You just start with making that first different thought that changed that decision and just start acting accordingly. And I love the way you this with the visualization. So combine the the affirmations, the visualizations with some connecting with your breath, then I think you got a really great toolbox. Eh?
Absolutely. You've just walked away today with a great toolbox to start with.
Yeah.
I feel like I want to go home and practice this tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah. That's beautiful. Thank you so much, Katie, and thank you so much for listening. And we will drop some more information in the show notes on how, if you want to come in contact with Katie, and some more of the techniques that we talked about. So with that said, just thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your time, and just go out there and be brilliant and continue to be resilient. So until next time, see you then.